he's on his way to where he heard they were praying for him. He gets to the house of Mary, and when he gets there, he knocks on the door. And when he knocked on the door, Rhoda came to the door. Rhoda is not a missionary. Rhoda is not a prophetess. Rhoda is not an usher. Rhoda is not a first lady. She's not a second lady. She's not a praise and worship team member. Rhoda is a damsel. She's a servant in the house. But she answered the door. She came to the door when she heard the knocking, and Peter said something. How do you know? Because the text says she recognized Peter's voice. And she would not open the door for gladness. She got so happy that Peter was at the door, she didn't open the door. She went back and told everybody Peter's at the door. And when she went and told them that Peter was at the door, the crowd said, oh, she's mad. This girl done lost her mind. I don't ever want to be in prayer with people who are going through the motions but don't really believe God. She got back to the door. She said, Peter's at the door. They said, girl, you lost your mind. Yes. Going through the prayer. Traditionalists. That's what's wrong right now. There are so many professional Christians, but no Pentecostal power. Going through the motions. Instead of you doing the prayer, you need to be prayed for. They said this girl done lost her mind. I don't care what your name is, but I want a Rhoda in my church. I want a Rhoda on my pew. I want somebody that just can hear his voice and know God is able. Don't have to see anything, but just to hear, she knew he was able. And she said, Peter's at the door. They said, you lost your mind. Get in here in prayer. We ought to stop faking the prayer. If you're not believing God, get up off your knees and go home. Don't mess up the atmosphere with some Bible-believing people who are walking by faith and not by sight. Got you going through the motion, but you don't really believe God. You over here supposed to be praying and you texting. You're supposed to be praying and you shopping. You're supposed to be praying and you going through your Facebook line. I don't want you on my pew. I want some folk that can really call on God, because you already learned he's working on the other side. While you were in quarantine, he was working. While you were in a place of no fellowship, he was working. Oh, you thought he forgot you, but he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. You just keep praying, keep studying, keep fasting, keep believing, because he said, I'm working on the other side. Look at somebody and tell them he's working on the other side. Lord have mercy. They said she lost her mind. That girl crazy. That ain't no Peter. And by then Peter got in the door. He got in the door. Can you imagine the thing that you've been praying about actually walks up on your porch? Can you imagine the thing you've been praying about is actually ringing your doorbell? You don't get it. You've been in quarantine. You can't come out, but God said, I can come to you. And I'll bring whatever favor I had on your life that I was going to take to you, I'm going to bring it to you. Somebody got distracted along the way. Folk got distracted, got discouraged. You couldn't get out to church. I don't even know how folk can leave a church and join a church in a quarantine. You really lost your mind. But folk that know how to stand still and know that he's God, you'll find out he's working on the other side. While you're crying, he's working. While you walking the floor, don't know how you're going to make it, he's working. While people are turning their backs on you in the midst of a quarantine, he's working. While you're going through crisis and you find out you couldn't trust who you thought you could, he's working on the other side. And while you over here crying, somebody else is saying, help him, Lord. Save him, Lord. Work it out for him, Lord. Open the door for him, Lord. And he's working on the